Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB bikini pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today's guest is a mother, Air Force veteran, and wife who grew up in Mississippi and got into bodybuilding when her father-in-law suggested she look into it. This bikini athlete did her first show in 2021 at the Kuclo Classics and swept the entire competition before turning pro 6 months later at North Americans. After that, she earned top 5 at the Dallas Pro, top 3 at the Texas Pro, and then her Olympia qualification at Sasquatch Pro. And in her 2023 Olympia debut, she placed in the top 15. Outside of competing, she has a personal training company, MeekPhysiquefit. And if that didn't give away who we're speaking with today, I am so happy to welcome to the show Tamekia Carter. How are you doing?
Oh my God, I am doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, honestly, it's my pleasure. And I'm so happy you're here. And before we get into all of you and who you are and all that you have to offer us, is there anything you do or think about right before your heel hits the stage?
Oh man. Honestly, right before I hit the stage, everything goes silent for me. And so like a little back, in my past, when I was in high school and stuff like that, I was a dancer. So I was a majorette in the South, we call them majorettes. And so we would have to do field dances in front of the whole, stadium and the football, the football stadium. So it's for me, going on stage is almost the same thing. It's like as if I was going on that field when I was younger, and everything goes silent. And now that I've been doing it for a few years, it's like, show them what you got. Show them what you've been working on for the last 6-7 months, because you only have a good 45 seconds. So give it your all. And yeah, that's literally, it's amazing, the feeling.
I know there's really no way to describe it until you have experienced it. And then I think even then the experience can vary for people, but there is something euphoric about stepping on stage. And now that makes me wonder if the experience you have on stage, that feeling is the same as what you would experience when you were performing as a dancer.
Oh man. So for me, yes, because when I was, when I was a dancer and performing, it was almost the same thing. So like when I was a dancer performing, keep your back straight, point your toes, and I was making sure I hit all those fundamental movements. But I still, it's moving for me. It's just graceful for me. And so now on stage, it's almost the same thing. It's keep your core tight, keep your shoulders up, but it's so graceful for me. It's just, it comes natural, but I definitely still the aspect of in the fundamentals that I got from dancing, it definitely helps out and shows when I get onto stage as well.
Well, it's very clear that you're comfortable on stage. Like, I watch your videos and I'm like, holy moly, this woman from your first show, even. And that's not common. So now I'm having an understanding of maybe where that comfortability and presence came from, because when you step on stage, you own it and you pose like you're meant to pose on the Olympia stage. Like you pose like it's the biggest stage in the world, no matter what. Yeah, so that is so freaking awesome. And if you guys haven't seen her pose, you have to go and watch her Instagram videos of her posing, because it's truly awesome. So Tamekia, did you teach yourself posing, or did you have someone else involved in that process?
So actually, yes. So, oh my goodness, it's funny. I was actually going through my phone camera videos, and I saw one of my first posing videos. I sent my coach, and it was so cringeworthy. So for me, I was like, oh my goodness, what was I doing? But so yes, my coach, bikini prep coach, my coach Tatiana DeBeek out of in Tampa, Florida, she taught me, she always saw that I had the grace. She saw I had the confidence, But, you know, of course, you can't walk the same. You can't pose the same on the stage. It's definitely different. You know, it's fundamentals. So she definitely taught me the fundamentals, but she always was like, make sure you hit these fundamentals, but bring Mika to it. You know, don't lose Mika in it. Still show them who Mika, you know, is. Even when you're making sure, you know, you keep your back up. Even when you're making sure, you know, you keep your shoulders right. Still move how Mika would move. And so when she told me that, and I got comfortable with learning the fundamentals, I was like, okay, I know how to do the feet part. I know how to do the core part. Now let me get comfortable with really showing me while I'm doing this, and practice, practice, practice. And yeah, but yeah, she's definitely helping with that.
That's beautiful. I really like your emphasis on owning the fundamentals, knowing them like the back of your hand, and then adding in the fun personality, like who you are. Because I think a lot of us, we see people like you who are already showing that, and we think that's how I need to be like that. I need to showcase that. And we forget the fact that the reason you're able to demonstrate who you are through your posing is because you've mastered the basics.
Yes, yes, yes. That is so, so true. Because yes, I couldn't agree 100%, because I definitely know there's been times when, or even now, when I would be in the groove, and even for that quick second when I'm like, okay, making sure and I started thinking about what I'm doing, fundamentals, is you get off. You know, you could tell in the move and the dance, when in the movement, when your mind has shifted, or, you know, when you're not just enjoying it, or you're forgetting to do this. So that, yeah, that definitely helps to make sure you have those fundamentals down, and then you feel more comfortable with, you know, having fun and showing your grace or your sass or your bubbliness, whatever it is that, you know, makes you you.
You know, that's actually another good point. Is I don't know that a lot of people know who they want to be on stage until maybe they've tried it a few times, or they see what works, and it can be super awkward to actually know yourself and know how to express that. Like, I had a really hard time with that in the beginning of my journey. I cringe at my first posing video. I was like, delete this. Let it. Why of all the things that have suddenly disappeared from my computer hard drive, this is not one of them. Like, here to haunt me, keep me humble. But like, I didn't know who I was on stage yet. So I think I was trying to be what I saw other people being successful with, and it wasn't a good look. So how did you find, or maybe find the confidence even to exemplify you on stage as uniquely yourself?
So for me, honestly, it didn't feel right. Cause, like, you know, just like when I was starting, of course, you know, well, I'm pretty sure any girl who's getting into it, the first thing we do, we go to YouTube, you know, we try to find girls' vlogs who do it. We try to see who's, you know, inspire us. And then, you know, when you're new getting into it, you're like, okay, they're winning, and, you know, they're making friends. So I got to make sure I move like this. I got to make sure I walk like this. I got to make sure it took me trying to do that and feeling like, this doesn't feel right, Mika. Like, yeah, you are walking like, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't, you're not smooth with it, you know? So it was like, and after talking to my coach, and, she even noticed that. She's like, you're not moving how, it doesn't seem, it seems forceful. Like, it's not graceful. It's not moving. It's not smooth. And it was like, that's when I had to just be like, okay, be confident in showing because you have to take that step of being like, what you can bring can win. You don't have to try to mimic what someone else do to try to win. Bring what you can bring, bring your authentic move, your authentic just personality, and that can win too. So once I found that confidence and really believed, like, you know what, I can be Mika and win with that, and win with how I move, win with how I'm comfortable. And I haven't looked back. I'm sticking with it.
That's right. And at one point you were really well known for your hair.
Oh,
and
yes.
I was wondering why this has changed. Like, why did you change it? What inspired you, first of all, to rock your natural hair? And then what led you to change it in more recent shows?
So definitely, it's funny because when, of course, I got in, I was talking to my coach, and I was like, she was like, so how are you going to do your hair? Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, oh, I want to, do the long straight down. And she was like, no. She was like, Mika, because we had grew a relationship maybe almost a year and a half, 2 years before I even stepped on stage. So, she would FaceTime me. She got to know me. She got to, see how my life was and everything. And she was like, I've never seen you with straight hair. She was like, every time I see you have your natural hair, she was like, it's beautiful on you. And I never really wear straight hair. I do normally wear my hair in my little two pigtails or, in the fro. Like that's normally who I am. And she was like, if you want to feel like you, show you, be you. She was like, do your natural fro because that's how you naturally feel comfortable. She was like, we want to make sure, that you still feel you on stage so that they can get you on stage. And I, thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I do feel more natural with my natural fro. Like I'm going to feel good. And I'm not going to lie, I was getting a lot of compliments like your back is amazing. So I was like, my friend shows my back too. So I was like, yeah, cool. Let's give it a try. And I didn't know that it was going to be so, oh my goodness, the fro and the curly hair and oh, it was a showstopper. So it definitely made me feel good to know that it was a step that, and was beautified and I could be my natural self. With me changing my hair, I definitely realized that my natural fro is definitely me. It's what I love to exude and everything. But when you get into the sport, you have to do what is going to work, and not in the sport, but for your physique on the stage. And so I knew, coming from the judges' feedback and everything, you have a nice back, but these kind of things can't take down if it's not perfect. So as much as I loved my fro and everything, I knew that until I can completely make my physique, balance top to bottom, and that's very, very hard. So, it was like, why even, if you know that that's what you need to do to make a change in excelling and bring, in excelling your look and excelling your physique and what you show to be judged, then I had to know that I need to do that for the sport. To be able to excel in the sport. I had to put my selfish, I want to be, I want to show my fro and I don't care about da-da-da. No, we're doing it for the sport. If this is what, if this is going to help you excel in the sport and you care that much to excel, let's give it a try. And I mean, it looks beautiful on me anyway. So,
oh my God. Yeah, it's so beautiful. And honestly, I love how you can recognize there's you on stage and you feel confident. And then there's like a tweak that can be made from an athletic perspective, like from a competitive perspective. That is so hard to accept. We saw this even back in 2015 through 2018. There was a change in types of bikinis that were worn. Everyone now had a bikini that was sparkling. It wasn't just an off the rack suit. Everyone stopped wearing the dangly hip. They loved it. Some people still love it. That's okay. If that's what you want to do and you're not maybe trying to go to that next level, or you don't care if you're judged on it, like that is something people changed because it affected the way their physique looked. It took away from balance. So we can say it doesn't matter, but in some cases it does. And I was wondering, is it that your back is like too shredded because you get like leaner in the upper body? Was it just throwing off balance from the lower? What was the feedback exactly?
Yeah, so it definitely was it was definitely my back to lean out my legs as much as I would need to. I would need to lean out, the upper body. And because I have so much muscle development, leaning out my back would make me too lean. I would get and my feedback for the longest was you're coming in too lean. And my feedback for the Olympia was, a hair too lean, come in fuller. So and in order to make sure that I keep my fullness, so and not overdo it in my legs, I would have to lean out so much, and it's not enough to compromise my placing. So it's like if you have to just do the long hair, let's do it. It's not that big of a deal, for me it's not.
Yeah, that's so interesting because it was, I think, a big deal, like you said, when you stepped on stage and you were rocking your natural afro. It was like, this is such an amazing moment, and it was so beautiful. And I think it empowered others to see that they can exude themselves.
I definitely started seeing a lot of fros on stage, and I was like, okay, I love it. And a lot of ladies was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it and try it too, girl. Do your thing. I love that. I'm definitely glad that I was able to help. And, a lot of girls was like, okay, cool. She made it that far with her fro. I know I can. Yeah, you can. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. So let's talk about feedback. You did just compete in the Olympia. And to place on the Olympia stage is a huge deal. So that is awesome. And I'm curious what your feedback was and what your plan is from here.
Yes. So honestly, like I said, my feedback honestly was I came in a hair too lean, which honestly, now that I'm learning, I'm learning the sport. I'm really understanding, physiques are different, like the standards is the same, but the physiques are, everybody's physique is different. So it's going to look different on different people. So now I'm realizing, I don't have to not go so hard, but I don't have to, be as lean. I don't have to be as hard because that's not what they're looking for. When you're going through nationals and stuff, it seems like, it's lean. It's hard, who's the tightest, but when you get up to this level where you have enough muscle maturity, so, you don't have to lean out so much to show your muscle, and they're looking for the curviness and, the nice fullness and stuff. And with me being naturally small, that's always been a tough battle for me. And now that I'm trying to put on as much more muscle, keeping that fine line of, enough muscle, enough softness, it's tough. It's tough trying to find that fine line. So that's been my main focus, trying to find my fine line between not coming in too soft and not too lean. So mostly it's fill in a little bit more, and they say keep bringing it. They say, a hair too hard, coming a little softer, and keep showing up. So that's my plan.
I love that. So are you competing in the next few months? Are you taking some time off?
Oh, I definitely told my coach and I, we talked, and normally I would start my season like midsummer, but there's a few shows we're looking at that's a little earlier part in the year. So it'll be, it's going to be a little earlier than the summertime when I start up.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I love that. So what did making it to the Olympia mean to you?
Girl, oh my gosh. Like, it's so crazy because when it happened, my husband and I, like, he was, of course, the first person how I went to him was like, hey, I want to give this a try. And he was like, what is that? And, I remember being in California and just telling him, hey, I just want to give it a try, because I had been in the military for 10 years. I felt like, becoming a mom, being in the military, being a wife, I'm not going to say I lost Mika, but I wanted to, remember who Mika was or discover Mika again. So I was like, you know what, let's try something so different that's going to force me to step out the box and, force me to find that confidence and build. So when I brought it to his attention, he was like, okay, I was like, we don't know where it's going to go. I was like, I just want to try this to get my confidence back. So it was really just a confidence booster show, and I wanted to get back into fitness. I had just had my daughter, and, so I was like, this would be a great way to, kill what they call it? 2 birds with 1 stone. So I was like, okay, let's give it a try. And I remember being in California, and I was like, I remember being in Texas after I did my first show, and I won, and everybody was like, you got it. Like, they was like, girl, you can really go far in this. They was like, go to the next show. You probably can get your pro card. And I was like, oh man. So I was like, babe, it'll be a dream one day if I just, my goal in this journey is to just one day at least make it to the Olympic stage. Like, I know I can do it in a few years, and it'll probably happen one day. And then 2 years later, and it's crazy because I'm like, that was my end goal, to just make it to the stage. And to have ranked 15 out of the world, it was amazing. Like, it still feels surreal, but it still feels surreal, and it makes me so hungry. Like, I want it again. I want more. I really see how competitive I am now, because I'm so excited, but it still feels surreal. I still can't believe it. Like, I'm grateful, and I still can't believe it. It's crazy.
It's amazing. It started to refine yourself and have that confidence. And we were just talking about how confident you are on stage and how that's developed. And then you add on top of that, like, finding who you are. And you just said you're more, you didn't realize you're this competitive, but it's like awakened that part of you.
Yes. I've never been. It's fun. It's funny because people always ask me, were you a track runner? Did you do sports? I've never been in sports, never really been in a situation where, it was a competitive or team player kind of thing. This is the closest, and it's definitely showing me how disciplined I am. Like, I didn't know that I had this strength. I didn't know I had this discipline. I really didn't know I had this drive for something for me. I always had that drive in the military because, you're it's more than just you. So, it's always a bigger purpose, but for me to find that drive for myself, and now being a mom and a wife, it can kind of for a second make you feel selfish, be like, oh, should I be this pet, just for me? But having the support of, my family and everything, like, I'm okay with having this drive that's for me, this passion that I wake up and it's for me to, keep getting better, to keep doing, to just keep excelling and stuff. And yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
Not to mention it was your husband's dad's idea, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's funny because now my husband, he was joking. He'd be like, I gotta tell my look what he has my wife into. Now I gotta be okay with her. Dad, why did you put this in her ear? But yes, he saw that I was really into fitness. I had the military background. He saw I was just kickstarting my personal training, and he was, getting in the gym and everything. And so he would call one day and he was like, Mika, you ever seen, those ladies who do that bodybuilding stuff? And I didn't know anything about bodybuilding. The most I knew about it was like the figure, I had never heard of bikini. So when he said it, I was like, Pops, I think I'm a little too small to be doing that figure. I was like, I don't think I can get that big. And I was like, I don't know about that. And he was like, no, just look into it. And, see, he was like, you got a nice physique. He was like, no, just look into it. And so I started my research, and I found bikini, and I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, this is cool. I was like, okay, I can probably try this. And it went from there.
And what was your initial impression of competing in the bikini division, and how has that changed since you've actually participated in it and gone as far as you have?
So I just, to be honest, I definitely watching the videos and stuff. I thought bikini was like a pageant kind of thing at first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, oh, this is going to be cute. It's going to be cool. I still couldn't get, past being in a bikini on stage in front of a whole bunch of people. But I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. It wasn't until going through the process of getting ready for a show, doing the prep, doing, getting ready for like the peak week and stuff like that, that I learned, like, this is so much more. Like, oh man, this is really like, this is a life learning, and it's I realize it takes a lot to want to get up even after being tired, being hungry, being carb cycling, and still get up and go push yourself to go do that workout, still get up to go and do this. And on top of that, for me, still go get my babies and still, be mom and stuff like that. So I was like, this is a life. This is a lifestyle. Like, it wasn't just it's just, let me try a pageant. Like, I really learned, like, this is truly a lifestyle. And now that I've fallen in love with it, it's like, this is a passion and I take it serious. Like, this is my life. So it's definitely changed a lot from what I thought it was to how I feel about it now.
Peace with food without sacrificing your goals as a competitor, because you deserve to have successful preps, productive improvement seasons, and peace of mind year round. I decided to create a free 8-day food relationship coaching series a few years back that over 800 people have gone through. Because when your head is cluttered with thoughts of food, eating, guilt, you have a lot less energy to invest into the goals that you truly care about. So this free program was designed to help athletes like yourself develop a healthy relationship with food so you can have your most fulfilling and effective preps, improvement seasons, and lifestyle phases as well. This is an 8-day series that has a video every single day, a full workbook to guide you through every single video, and you can respond to the emails with the work you did and receive direct support and guidance from me personally, which is, of course, something I love to provide to the community. So you're not only going to discover your ideal relationship with food, but you'll also identify detrimental thought and behavior patterns. You'll overcome guilt and shame, so every decision can be made with intention and pride. We will use expectations and reinforcements to seamlessly manipulate your behavior around food to be more positive and aligned with that ideal relationship with food. We'll figure out why you're really craving what you are when you're sleep deep in another jar of peanut butter, or justifying that next cookie, or continuously eating endless bags of rice cakes, whatever it is for you. We'll become crystal clear on why you act, think, and live the way you do, so you can, of course, act, think, and live the way you want to. And we'll come up with some personal commitments that are rooted in positive psychology based on your current season. So this is a psychoeducational course. It is free to anyone and everyone. You can access it at www.celestial.fit/food series and learn more about it, as well as even get a sneak peek into the accessible PDF notebook with the extra resources and guidance through every single workshop along the way. If you do decide to participate in it and you love it, of course, I encourage you to share it with a friend or a teammate or another athlete who may be struggling. Or if you hear about someone's struggle, let them know that this exists.
Totally. Like, your investment in the process has given more of that drive to continue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How has it affected your life as a mom?
Oh man, so it's so amazing. It's so amazing because when I tell you my kids are fitness fanatics now.
Wow,
and they're just 9, and my son is 9, my daughter is 5. And they're so proud. Like, they feel like they have super mom. They go to school and tell everyone, they go to school, like when he was getting ready for the Olympia, they was like, my son would go to school and was like, yeah, I gotta run to Orlando because my mom, she's in the Olympia. And he was like, yeah, you know what that is, right? Like,
oh, that's so
proud.
cute.
And yes, and they're so, like, when I say they root for mommy, to the point where, like, I'm in like an off season per se. So, you know, I give them my little refeed meal once a week. My kids will be like, Mommy, are you sure you can have that? Do we have a show coming up? And I'm like, no, baby, it's okay. I talked to coach, and like they root for me, and they love it. They definitely, even the times when I'm tired, you know, I'm like, can I probably skip this workout? Or, you know, I don't feel like it. I know that my babies is like, mommy can do it. You know, mommy got this. And mommy, it gives me that push. It really gives me that push because they really support me, and they are so proud of their mom.
That's so cool. Do they ever watch you train or watch you pose and
Oh, yes. Girl, it's so funny because my baby girl, when she takes pictures now, she's like, Mama, you need to pose. And I'll do like and she's like, no, mommy, pose. And so she wants me to do a bikini pose.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or my son, I'll catch him and he'll be doing the C-bump poses and stuff.
Oh, so he's into it now.
Yes, like they love it. It's funny because, yeah, they definitely love it.
That's so cool. And does your husband live this lifestyle as well?
No, he's getting into, it's funny because he's not into like working out and everything, but he has an athletic body. And I get so annoyed because I'm like, I work out 6 days a week. You don't even go to the gym and you're still good, but you can go play basketball and you'll be perfectly fine. But it's me getting into it and him being around it because he loved going to the shows, and he networks and talks to other husbands and, you know, talk to other guys there and stuff. And so he's really getting into, like, he's like, Meek, I gotta get in the gym. He's like, and he doesn't have to, but he's like, I want to get in the gym. Like, I want to be a part of that now. And so it's exciting. I'm gonna let him move how he wants to move, and, you know, but just cheer for him and root him on when he feels like it. But he said he's going to get into the working out and getting into the fitness.
That's so cool. I just love the support that's there. And it also goes to show that your husband doesn't have to be living the exact same lifestyle to still be supportive.
This is so true. It takes a lot of discipline because, girl, it used to be funny. I'll be in peak week, and my babies, they'll be like, on Fridays, I would go get them donuts and stuff like that. And so I'm in peak week, and they're like, Mommy, can we get our donuts today? And I'm like, I gotta drive and go get donuts, and I gotta keep these in the car with me until you. And my husband's like, yeah, and stop and Steak and Shake. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, they do not, like, they have their moments when they do their thing, but I'm disciplined, and it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I wouldn't deprive them of enjoying, you know, whatever they want to enjoy and stuff just because mommy is having a hard time or mommy can't. Like, no, this is my journey. So I put the tough stuff on myself. I'm disciplined enough for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to remember it's our choice at the end of the day.
That is
And
so true. Exactly.
we also didn't like, I have to sometimes remind myself, or at least when I used to want to complain, or if I find myself wanting to complain, I remind myself it's a choice, but also no, prep is not an excuse to be an a-hole, right? So like no one around me chose for me to be on prep. Nobody around me told me that I needed to be on prep. Nobody
This
around
is
me
true.
even signed up to be on prep with me.
This
So
is so true.
to be able to demonstrate a stability and consistently no matter the season. And prep can get really, really hard. I can only
Oh yeah.
imagine in your position as a mom, on top of everything else, because you started when your daughter was just born, correct?
Yes. Yes. My daughter was, oh, how she was maybe well actually prepping, yeah. She was probably like not even a year old when I started, like
Wow.
getting once I reached out to my coach and told her I wanted to start, and she gave me my meal plan. I was like, okay, this is what you're going to start eating. This is what you have to do. My baby girl was a few months. Yeah, she was not even a year old yet. So yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. Did you have your partner support through that process as far as with the kids, or were you the main manager, if you want to say that, of your kids and home life?
So during this, let me see. When we finally, because it's crazy, for some odd reason I decided to start a bodybuilding and competing in the process of separating from the military, on top of the process of moving from California to Texas.
Oh my God.
Yes. So like my first 3 months of prep was hectic. It was crazy, but he was so supportive. Like if I needed to go to the gym, or if it was like, hey babe, I need to go to the gym. He's like, okay, I get off at this time, but I'll make sure, he's like, I got the kids at this time. You just go ahead and go there. Like he always tried to figure out a way to help me make it work. And like now, now I'm at the process of, now that we're settled and everything, I honestly, I just make sure my babies, they love what I do, and they love being around fitness also. So I honestly make sure I have memberships at gyms that have kid areas, because they always want to come to the gym with me. Like
Oh,
if they out of school, the first thing they ask when they get out of school, mommy, you been to the gym yet? And if I say no, like, can we go to the gym? Like they love going to the gym. So
wow.
it's not a problem at all, girl. Like it's,
That's
yeah.
so cool. I love hearing that. I would love to be a mom one day. So whenever I have moms on the show, I'm like, this is so amazing. Like
Oh
I get
yes.
to learn from you and that positivity that radiates from you about this journey. I think your kids probably pick up on that. And so there's such a positive, it's not, oh, mommy has to go to the gym, because
Exactly.
you're exuding excitement about going.
Yes, 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 and it's funny because even when they see, like, they know, they see how hard mommy go, and and then my son, he's 9, so he sent emotion, he could tell when mommy's being tough, but mommy's probably still having it. He's such a hard kid. Like he'll see me and he'll see that mommy did a late night workout, then mommy came home, and now mommy got to get up and get us ready for school, and then mommy got to go back to the gym to go do her clients. And he would see like mommy getting kind of tired, and he would just come. He'd be like, you can do it, mommy, and he'd give me a hug. He'd be like, it's okay,
Oh,
mommy, you got this. Girl, when I say, I'm like, I have to do this now. Like, I can't sit there and complain. Like, he believes I can. Like, girl, it shoots. It really helps me. Like, it gives
wow.
me 1,000%. Yes, girl, I love it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely truly blessed, because my babies, they push me. Even when mommy is tired, they're like, mommy, you got this. You can do this. So
Mm.
yeah, it's amazing.
Is your why now different than what it was before, to like find yourself and have confidence? Like, has your why changed?
Yes, I can definitely say it. Well, it's broadened. I would say I've definitely I've definitely found myself. I've definitely found my confidence. I know what I'm capable of. My why now is much bigger, it's larger. It's not just about me anymore. My why when I got into this was, me trying to find myself, me trying to find my confidence, me, seeking that again. My why now is like my babies, honestly. My why now is like, okay, I want to show like how far I can make it in this. My why now is like, I want to let other women know who's probably in their 30s, who think, oh, this is just a young girl's thing. And I want to show you, yes, you can. Yes, we can, girl. You can get into it. It's not, you still got it. Like my why is so much larger than just me now. So yeah.
That is super amazing. It's wonderful what finding yourself and finding confidence can inspire in our hearts to, why wouldn't I want to share this with other people type of a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to expand. And I love that you use the term broadened, because you're sharing it's still giving you what it gave you in the beginning, but on a bigger scope, essentially.
Yes, exactly.
Something I was curious about, you said you're hungry now for more, right? You've stepped off the Olympia stage, got really great feedback, you have this purpose in this sport that's spanning beyond yourself. What do you hope to accomplish in competing?
Okay, so competitive side, I definitely hope to, win the first place one day. I have the confidence that I definitely know I can. That's the competitive side. As far as my apologies, what did you say again? Make sure I give you a good answer.
Yeah, just to accomplish in general, like as a competitor, what do you hope to accomplish? Maybe that's what you want to acquire from a trophy standpoint or show standpoint, or what like maybe it's something you want to do long term with competing.
Yes. Okay. So yes, that is definitely something I've been thinking about, because I realized a while back actually that, like, to sustain, because I love bodybuilding. I've fallen in love with it, and I definitely don't see myself leaving it anytime or ever. So, but I also am realistic, about how long you can be on a stage, how long you can actually, especially with the way these girls are coming in now, and we get new pros every, like, the look changes, like the evolution of the body and stuff, how we're coming in. So, you only got that window to just really do it when it comes to the stage. But I definitely plan on getting far on the Olympia stage, making a name for MeekPhysique. It's for Tamekia Carter, MeekPhysique. And one day, I would love to start posing. I would love to start my own posing. I would love to definitely give back as far as like going to seminars, telling women, giving my confidence story and stuff like that to different seminars in the bodybuilding industry. I would love to definitely, like, hopefully one day do my own production and stuff, start having my own little area for girls to compete, or, like, it's so, I didn't realize how broad, the bodybuilding and the avenue. I just thought it was the stage. I thought, you had your time on the stage and that's it. But when you're smart about it and you actually realize that there's so much more even after the stage and stuff, and just really start setting yourself up to be in that avenue and, be in that realm, and not just wait till after the stage and then say, then what? But actually be really thinking about it while you're even in that stage realm. And that's what I'm doing now. And yes, I definitely plan on doing a lot more in bodybuilding in the industry.
The opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
And we don't know that until we're exposed to it. Because I was similar. Like, I was more of a consumer of the sport than a contributor until I started this podcast. And then the podcast is another example. Like, there's so much you can do for the industry, and you can tell you're doing it with heart. Like, there's that passion in you to want to do more. And when you serve in that way, it's received so beautifully. And you can get so many opportunities just by asking for them. Like, that's how I was able to speak at so many events or have people on the podcast. Or actually, I just got accepted to do a breakout session at the women's workshop. And I'm that's cute. Yeah. Like,
that's amazing.
Thank you. And it's like, the answer is always no if you don't ask. That's something I learned early on. And when you're talking about all these goals you have in the industry, I know it's possible because, one, you have the passion, you have the heart, and two, we've seen it done. Right?
Exactly.
So who's to say you couldn't? And I just think it's going to be beautiful to witness, and we need more of it. Like you're seeing now, there's so many shows for natural competitors, and then there's all these women's only shows. It's like there's a niche for purposes.
Yes, so true.
So what is MeekPhysique business? Like, what is that for you? What does it mean for you? How long have you been doing it? Who do you serve?
Oh, okay, cool. So MeekPhysique started literally, well, actually, I was still in the military. I was in the process of getting out of the military. And while I was in the military, I was a personal trainer. So when I was in the, as I did airfield management operations, but in the military, you had like 15 different jobs. I was also, because I love fitness and I was certified in fitness, I was also a personal training leader for like all of our squadrons. So that would be like 7 different squadrons that had maybe 50, 60 people in each squadron. So I would have to make workouts, for these people and stuff, and, get different groups up on my off time to get our workouts in and everything. And I actually had a young lady who, she was an airman with me, and she was going through a tough time. And she was like, she wanted to talk a lot, and she just needed someone to talk to. And she was having a problem with her fitness and everything. So I was like, hey, look, I'll talk to you, when we do our workouts. I'm saying, like, I was like, as long as you promise to work out with me, let me do your workouts. I was like, I'm saying we could talk, we can get through this and everything. And we would do that and stuff. She did better with her workouts. She started passing her exams. And I was like, that's really good. And she came to me and she was like, thank you so much. She was like, the workouts were great. She was like, but you don't know how much you really helped me. You really pushed me, and got me out of that gray area where I was and stuff. Like, she was like, you really helped me health-wise, as well as, knowing that I can get through this stuff. Because, we would talk about the workouts and she'd be like, I can't do it. And I'm like, girl, we've had kids. Yes, you can. We can push through this. We push through this. But she was like, even giving her putting that mental comparison in her head will help her be like, you know what, I can push through this. I got the strength to get through this because I got the strength. I had the strength to get through that. And so the joy I got from her telling me that, it was like a high for me. I was like, okay, this is what I love to do. This is what I love to feel. I love I love making people feel confident. And if I can do that through fitness, if I can do that through health, then like that's what I love. So I started doing that in the military. And then I got out the military. Once I got out, almost the same year, I started MeekPhysique Fitness. I would just, do mostly I was helping out with different ladies in the military and stuff, or I'll get young ladies up online and stuff. And I started that, and I came to California. We got here to Dallas, and then I started doing more in-person bodybuilding and stuff, not bodybuilding, but lifestyle fitness. And it's always been like MeekPhysique, the gateway to fitness. I've always done like more lifestyle, and a lot of ladies who had kids and stuff, and who's like, look, I'm not ready for the bodybuilding style, but I need to know how to start. Like, I need to know, like, let me know what I can do around the house when my baby is asleep, to really start getting back into it. And so that's really what MeekPhysique was like. That's really what MeekPhysique is about. Like, the starting point. Everybody's not ready to go straight to the gym. And so I do a lot of traveling to my clients. I get them to comfortable settings where they feel like, okay, I can try to work out around here, and give them a starting point rather than expecting them to be it here, rather than them coming in expecting to be, or feeling the pressure to be up here. I make it where they have a starting point where it's comfortable for them. So yeah, it's a little tidbit.
Oh no, that's a beautiful mission. I was just like enthused listening, because we need that. There's so much pressure to skip 10 steps ahead all the time in any area of life. Like, you should be here, you need to be doing this, and then end up just staying here because it feels like that pressure. So the fact that, I love that term, gateway, that's perfect. It's like, you're not pushing them to be like, nah, well, you got to get your butt in the gym, I'm not going to help you. You're like, no, let's make it work with what we have. And I was just talking to my friend yesterday on the phone about how sometimes people will say something to you and you maybe don't need it in the moment, but later when you do need it, because doubt is kicking in, or frustration, or whatever the negative emotion is, it comes up in your head and you remember what they said. And I feel like that's an impact you've consistently been making in your clients, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
That's awesome. And then eventually, hopefully, some posing coaching, because we already got some great tips from you earlier too. And I did a podcast party last year. I'd like to do another one this upcoming year. We'll see. There's a lot happening already upcoming year, but I'd like to. It's in demand. And so you'll get an invite for that. And it would be amazing. Yeah, it'd be amazing to have you do like, last time we did like panels. but I'm thinking about doing it a little differently. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'd rather follow through, you know, and make sure it's how it should be. But I would love to have you there. So if we do it this year or next, not this year, 2023, but this upcoming year or next, like for sure you'll be getting that invite. And I think that'll be an amazing way to like introduce that skill set
Yeah,
or show that.
I would love it. Count me
Yeah.
in.
Yay, that'd be awesome. Okay, cool. So I want to go back to your time in the Air Force and specifically the disciplines. You said that you had like you'll have over up to like 15 jobs. That would require a lot of discipline, let alone what I believe they already instill in you during your service. So what of those disciplines have you continued, if any, or maybe instilled into your family life?
Oh wow. Honestly, one I live by, that's the military, is do more with little. You do more with little. And and another one we used to say was shut up and color. But that was more just saying, hey, let's stop complaining about it and figure out how we can get this done. Because complaining is what are we going to do with the complaining? Like, what are we going to accomplish? And our goal is to accomplish. So let's figure out how to accomplish. But I definitely live by do more with little, and I feel like that has helped me. And the one a small way that has helped me with my even small with my meal plans when I'm in prep. And when I have only a certain amount of food that I can eat, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's spread this out and make these as many meals as we can so we can feel, let's trick ourselves and make us feel like, you know, we've had food 8 times today, even though we've only had, you know, like it helps me think of different things. And with my family and stuff, like I'm not say unfortunately, but they get the military mom. Like I'm definitely let's get it done. Let's get it done right now. Do it. If you think about it, get it done. Like procrastination is tough, you know, and it's not good at all. So I've always been, if you think about it, do it. Don't let yourself think about it more than twice. If you're still thinking about it, it should have been done. And so that's how I've always been. With my workouts and stuff, or when I'm tired, shut up and color. Let's do this, because we know what we want to accomplish. And by sitting here being, you know, sitting in the pain, or, you know, sitting in the tiredness, we're not accomplishing that goal that we know we want to get to. So we got to get up and get this done, like, because we have that goal. And I'm such a goal-oriented person. Like when I'm driven into something, it gets my all. Like I am lasered in, and I'm not one for excuses or justification or anything like that, because I feel like women, honestly, we take on a lot. So, you know, it's not excuses. Like, what do you mean? We have to get it done. And then you put on top of that being a mom, and then you put on top of, you know, just everything else we're like super women. So that's how I think. I know the military has definitely, because the Mika before the military did not think like that. The Mika before the military was like, we'll get around to it when we feel. You know, hey, this is life. Let's flow. I am definitely, I'm a Gemini, so I definitely have the flow side of me. I definitely have the, hey, let's go with the flow and da-da-da-da. But the military and finding my passion has definitely, it helps me flip that switch of being driven, disciplined. And I definitely feel like the military has definitely helped me tone that in a lot.
Well, before I ask you this next question, everybody should rewind like about 2 minutes and listen to that again, because that was so awesome. And I'm like, know that for myself, even. I'm sure my assistant will be doing the edits, and she's like, clip. She also is a mom who was in the military too, so I'm sure she'll resonate.
Great.
Yes. So, you know, when I hear you say that, I'm like, man, that'll snap anybody out of like a victim mindset where we're just kind of sitting in our own shit. You know what? Saying, I don't want to do this. And I loved that. You mentioned it's something that is carrying over into your family life. And neither of my parents served in the military, but their parents did. And I think about how that's actually impacted me and how I imagine that's going to impact future generations. So your impact on your children is likely going to impact their children if they have them. Because I know my dad raised us the way his dad, who was in the military, raised him. So it was like, you're up, you're at 'em. And my mom was very much like you said, if you thought about it, it should be done. And so I carry that with me every day. And I think a lot of our strengths in that sense can also be weaknesses or arguably challenges where we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We always need to get things done. But like you said, it's actually quite empowering. And for women, especially, and I would agree with you here, there's so much on our plate. There's so much that we're doing to have that type of mentality and that strength. It's incredibly empowering.
Yes, it is.
So here was the question I wanted to ask, which is, when did you decide to serve in the military? Because if you before were like, go with the flow, whatever comes, like, why would you, what led you down that path?
I would definitely say it was an unfortunate blessing. Because at that time, before I joined the military, I was in college, but I didn't know what I wanted to do in college. I was there having fun, wasting my mom's money because I just was, partying and stuff. And then I went through a bad relationship. And then I had a few deaths in my family. So it was at a point where I just wanted to get away. And I was at a point where the Gemini in me was like, let's just pack up. We don't have anything. Let's just pack up and go. And let's just move away. Let's just start somewhere new. And then I was at work one day, and this gentleman who was in the Marines, he was like, no, if you want to get away, he was like, don't just run away. He was like, join the military. He's like, I think you would do really, really good in the military. And I was a very pretty girl. So I'm like, me in the military? I'm not, ew, no, what do you mean? I wear heels. I'm not going in the military. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, no, do the Air Force. He was like, the Air Force, is smart. They don't do all that kind of stuff. He was like, go to the Air Force. I promise you, I'm pretty sure you'd be good at it. And I went to a recruiter, talked to a recruiter, told them everything I was going through. And I was like, this is what I want to get out of the military. I was like, I want to travel. I was like, I want to see the world. I was like, and I want to learn something from this. And the recruiter was like, okay. He was like, if this is what you want to do, let's get into it. And then I joined the military. And I'm so glad I did. Like, I'm so glad I did.
Well, you were going through a lot of personal challenges, and instead of slinking away, you moved forward in a completely different way. Have you found that in life, if you do something completely different than you expect, it actually ends up being what you needed? Or was this like an exception and a one-time thing that kind of taught you that was a good choice?
Let me see. I would definitely say, for me in life, this is definitely, I've had situations in life I would rather not speak on, but they decided to go a completely different way than the norm, and then ended up being a blessing, or it ended up being a lesson that needed to be learned. It may have looked like something so bad that was happening, but I realized that it brought out something so beautiful, which would have been maybe a lesson I wouldn't have learned if I didn't go that other route. And in the military, it definitely was the same way. Like, it's crazy. I said I wanted to join the military to travel, and had situations where I was able to live in Spain. Like my family and I was able to, move to Spain, was able to travel to all these different countries and stuff, and see things that I know if I would have just stayed back home and sulked or ran away, I would have never got to see those things. And so, like, yeah, it was a blessing for me. It definitely went positive for me.
That's super amazing, because that would have probably been a bit scary, or maybe scary is not the right word, but it's something it's so different and unknown that I can only imagine signing those papers to actually enlist would be like what's going on?
Yeah. Oh my God. It was so funny because even when I told my mom, so I had signed, I didn't tell anybody I was joining the military. Like, I didn't tell anybody. I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. Like, because of where I was at that time of my life, I was like, I'm just leaving. Like, I'm leaving. But the universe had other plans. And when I tried to sign, I was like, I'm ready to go now. The recruiter was like, Well, there's actually a wait for like a year, so you can't leave yet. So I was
No
like,
way.
yeah, so I was like in delayed, it's called DEP, but you're like in delayed process for almost a year that I had to, just, of course, I, still have my job and everything, but
Ah,
I was mentally already checked out, ready to leave
right.
everything. And I couldn't. I had to, at that moment, I felt like life was like, you need to close this first. You need to figure this out. I'm not good letting you run away from this. Let's figure this out. And then we can do what you said you want to do. And so, I ended up staying for a while, but I still didn't tell my mom I was even enlisting. She didn't know until she came to see me get sworn in. She did not believe me the entire time. Like I was like, Mom, I joined the military. She's like, no, you didn't. I was like, Mom, I'm joining the military. Meekah, you're not letting someone yell in your face. Like you're not going to be dirty and wearing boots. I'm like, Mom, I'm joining the military. Meekah, they don't wear heels in the military. I'm like, Mom, I'm joining the military. And so
Whoa.
I was like, Mama, come on, let's go. She's like, where we're going? I was like, we're going downtown. And I walked in and she saw me sworn and she just cried.
Wow.
She was like, oh my God. She was proud. She was proud. But yeah, she definitely was like, my baby's like, whoa, she's actually leaving. Like she's really about to leave. And so, yeah, I left.
Oh my goodness. How shortly after being sworn in did you go?
Oh no, like that night we got sworn in.
Holy moly.
Yes, I got sworn in. They took us to a hotel room. We had to stay at the hotel that night, and then we got on a plane that next morning. I had to say bye to that. Yeah, I gave her a hug and I left.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, it's so interesting because you had that identity that wouldn't have been associated with the military so much so that she didn't believe you, but you still followed through. And on top of that, here you were talking to the recruiter saying what you want to get out of the military, only to be met with, oh, by the way, this is delayed 1 year. You're like, no, hold on. Rewind.
Exactly.
Let me just erase that whole conversation because the whole point of this.
Exactly.
But it sounds like you made the most of it and you said, I'll face this now in this year. So do you think it was actually more beneficial that you had to wait a year?
Yes. It's funny because during that year I was waiting, that's when I met my husband. And he didn't know I was going to the military. Like we met, I joined the military. I think I joined in like April. I signed the papers in April to join. I met him in July. And we literally was like together every single day. We fell in love, was together every single day. And then I left for the military on Valentine's Day. So I had to tell him the night before Valentine's Day, they're like, hey, I'm leaving for basic and I'm going to be gone. And, it's going to be a while. Like it was a lot. So it's crazy. It's crazy how life works because I feel like if I would have left right then and there, I would have never met my husband.
How did you guys meet?
He in college. So he was a part of a band and I was in college and I saw him perform and he was like, how did you like my performance? I was like, it was okay. We exchanged numbers and stuff and it went from there. And we've been together ever since.
Oh, and you guys made it through even with your time in the military.
Yes, it's fun. That's actually how my son got his name. My son name is Miles, Miles. And so I was away, like I had to go to basic training, I had to go to tech school, then I was stationed in Nebraska. My first station was in Nebraska and we lived in Mississippi. So he was my boyfriend at that time. I was like, are you going to come and live in Nebraska? He was like, I'll come and visit. I'm living. Are you sure that's where you're moving to? I was like, yeah. But we always, and when we finally did get back together and was able to move and be together, I had my son. And so we would always we gave him the name Miles. It was like, it didn't matter how many miles apart. We were still, we always found each other back. And we got back together, so we named his son Miles. It's so cute.
That is, at first I thought you were saying Miles like military shortened, and I was like, where's she going?
No, like Miles, like we like the traveling being apart from each other.
That's such a beautiful name. Like that's honestly so perfect. And what a cool love story too. And clearly you guys just hit it off when you met to where you could go through anything and it wouldn't matter, right? Like all those miles, all of those life changes. And it's something that's positively influenced your life to this day and something you use in your life even. Everything from the principles you learn to who you've become. And I think there's a lot to be said about facing something you don't know, and then you learn so much about yourself. You did this
Yes.
happen with competing, happen with the military. So something I love to know is how people emotionally or maybe mentally grow through bodybuilding. How would you say that bodybuilding has influenced your inner outlook on yourself and life? We understand it's led to more confidence and more of who you are, but how has it supported you emotionally and mentally?
Oh man. I would definitely say it's shown me, it's helped me realize my capabilities and not just my physical body, but how what I'm capable of mentally, what I'm capable of business wise, what I'm capable of, in my family. It's shown me that all of these principles and characteristics that I have learned throughout my life have all been beneficial to bring me to where I am now. Like all those things I went through has helped me excel and be in where I am in bodybuilding. The like you said, like the discipline, the passion, the grit, the don't run away from it, like let's try it. All that has definitely helped me and beneficial in bodybuilding.
So awesome. It's like your competitive edge almost. It's like
Mhm.
giving you what your edge is. So everything we've discussed has been incredibly insightful. And I like to wrap up the episodes with your best advice. So you may have already shared it, but what is your best advice to someone who has never competed before but would like to? And then your best advice for someone on their road to pro?
Never competed before and who has like to. Enjoy the process, but take it serious. Find your reason for doing it and not your favorite inspiration's reason. Actually find your reason. It's easy to get so caught up in being inspired by someone and you're hearing their stories and stuff. So you start being like, yes, that's what I'm going to get out of it. Or, yes, that's what I'm looking for out of it. Really find your true, what do you want to get out of it? Truly what you want to get out of it and be serious about it. But your first show and your first process, I say be serious because it's going to be tough. That first show, getting down to the first prep is always the toughest. But so be serious about it, but enjoy it. Like that show, enjoy it. Because I was so nervous. I definitely enjoyed my first show, but I was so nervous. For me stepping out and like I said, it was definitely very nerve-wracking. Now I would say, road to pro. Listen to your coach. If they telling you something, I mean, it's so easy for us, well, I can only speak on personal preferences, but I know when I first got in and after I became a pro and I was like, oh, I want, the large, I want the biggest glutes. I want the largest this. I want the biggest this because that's what looks good on me. That's not what's going to get you to win though. And as much as I want my physique to be like that, on that stage, it needs to be what those judges are asking for. So, and it's like, so pros, you listen to your coach. They're not telling you, that if you're with the right coach, you trust your coach, you're paying them for a reason. Like really listen to what they're telling you, take that feedback, stay for that feedback, listen to that feedback and take it serious. Like that's really what I've learned being the pro side, like trying to get to that top and be in that considerables and those mentionables. Yeah, you got to definitely listen to those, take that feedback and listen to your coaches.
That is such great advice for everyone and anyone. Actually, I think both pieces of advice apply for both scenarios. I'm like, yeah, we do need to enjoy and respect the process. And yes, we do need to listen to our coach. Like there's certain things that my coach told me heading into this improvement season that I was like, really like, I don't know if I want to address it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like I didn't think I had gut health issues. I don't think I have this. I'm fine. He's like, no, trust me, this is going to make a difference. You can't afford not to do this. And so I did it, and I'm like, he was right. He was right. You know, like, and I trusted him enough where I didn't ask him too many questions, like really, but I was just like, okay, well, I don't want to, nor do I think it's as necessary as you do, but I'll do it. What do I have to do? And I think that's just, like I said, it's just awesome advice for anybody. So with everything, how can people connect with you, find you, and follow your journey?
Oh, so of course you can get me on Instagram, MeekPhysique IFBB Pro. You can get my Facebook, which is actually the same thing. And always DM me, reach out. I'm friendly, I promise. I've had people tell me like, you're so intimidating, or you look so serious. And I'm like, I'm so not. Like, I'm actually kind of shy. But so just reach out. Hey people, DM, I promise. You can just reach out, hit me up.
That's so cool. I actually never took you as intimidating.
Girl, it's when I tell you, it's funny when I get my clients and like we finally start talking, because most of my clients are in person. We finally start talking, they're like, you don't know how long it took me to actually walk up to you and actually talk to you because you look so serious and you're so, and I'm like, really? I'm like, so cool. I really am.
Let me tell you what.
Look.
Yeah, no, you're so friendly. Your energy is just radiant and beautiful. So I hope we'll connect with Tamekia, because she's clearly awesome from what we've seen here. And hopefully you guys watch the video with us. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. This is also a video episode. So on YouTube, that's celestial_fit. You can also catch not just the links that she just mentioned to connect with her, but all the show notes. So that includes episode timestamps, a bulleted list of the topics we covered, and a full written summary. It's like reading the back of the book. You can find all that at celestial.fit/podcast. This is a great opportunity to share it with your friends, your teammates, your family. Say, hey, this really resonated with me, this part right here, or you need to listen to this episode. It means a lot to me when you guys share it, but it means even more to the athletes, because we like knowing that we're making a difference. And when you reach out to them, I can't tell you how many times like the athletes will screenshot the messages you guys send them and share them with me if appropriate to do so. And it's a beautiful thing to see, or I get told that you're messaging them. It means so much. So definitely let us know your thoughts on the episode. Share it with your friends, your family, your Instagram feed, because some of us don't have other bodybuilder friends other than on Instagram. So all that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. And Tamekia, thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Let's make it awesome.